If you have a dream, you have something that you want to build, you have something that you're meant to do, and only you can do it on the way only you are going to do it. This conversation is good for you because we go through what it means to slow down and rest and really figure out your processes, implement those processes, and then find people that are doing it at a higher scale than you are and learn from them. There are many voices out there. A lot of voices are going to tell you, do it this way, do it this way. This is the right way, this is the wrong way. But you have to slow down long enough to understand who you are and really understand the voices that speak well to you and be able to like learn from them and implement whatever it is that they're teaching. And today on this podcast, I have my guy Lorenzo Hines with me. He's been gone for a minute, doing all the things, but he's back today, and we're here to welcome him to the Creative Den team. Shout out to my guy. What's happening, bro?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Thanks
bro.
for having me, man.
Yeah, man. When we started this podcast,
Yeah,
we talked through. We had conversations about what this could look like,
for sure.
even months before the podcast actually launched. Obviously, you are in the video space, video production, video agency space, and you do a lot of videos. You edit a lot of videos, and I wanted you to be a part of this team because we're both walking the same kind of journey, the same purpose in a sense. We have things that God has put within us for us to do, and I wanted you to be a part of this. And something happened where you had to be gone for almost a year, over a year.
Over a year.
You are in the Air Force Reserve, right?
Correct.
And they pulled the card where it's like, you got to get yourself here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Talk through us, just about your, having to leave,
For sure.
but still having that dream,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anytime I've had to leave, because it's actually the second time I've had to kind of leave for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
First time was when I deployed, and it was kind of right in the middle of me doing creative work as well.
Right.
But needless to say, this time, again, over a year ago, right? Last year, as we were talking about the podcast and whatnot,
Right.
this came about. And, being in the Air Force Reserves, for people who don't know, I'm not full-time in the military, so, I'm not 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's something I do 1 week in a month,
Right.
2 weeks out of the year, traditionally. However, what was going on is that I had a transition in my job,
Right.
if you will, so I was switching jobs completely. And so this meant that, or for this specific job, it happened to be a year-long training.
Gotcha.
Right? And so I'm thinking, wow, like here we're trying to kick off some more ventures, podcasts, continue videos, there's clients, there's all these type of things, right, that I feel like God's placed in my heart, a gift that I want to steward, right, and continue to scale, if you will.
Yeah.
And this comes along.
Right.
It's like, man, like, well, how does that work?
Right.
Like, to be gone a year, everything stops completely, have to completely shift your focus onto something entirely different.
Yeah.
And so really for me, at the beginning, I was like, okay, well, I got to do it. At the same time, a year goes by quick.
Right.
I mean, a year does go by quick.
Does.
Now, at the time going through it, it definitely felt a lot longer than that. But it's one of those things to where I have to remind myself to stay focused and that this doesn't mean a complete stop.
Gotcha.
Right? It doesn't mean that I have to, okay, well, I'm gone for a year because I'm going to, not do any work with clients, because I'm not going to, be doing any video stuff really, that it must mean I must pivot or something like that, right? Like, I think that's the last thing that I want to do, because I know what God has placed in my heart, right?
Yeah.
And something to, again, cherish and to continue to build on. It's just that there was just a gap that was going to happen in this time. And so I think the focus for me was, I still took a camera with me when I was gone for the entire time, to still like work on stuff, to still practice. I think there's good habits always to build on fundamentals, right? You can never go wrong with those things. But yeah, I think the journey was long, but I'm glad to be back, to get back into this full swing of things, right? And it was helpful because in that year, although I was studying something else, it allowed me to have time for the days that I had off, to really focus on, okay, well, what is it that I want to do? Where would I like to take, my video skills, right? Where would I like to take this journey, right? Like, God, tell me the steps to take for when I get back.
Yeah.
It was almost like a a sabbatical, right, for video, right, in terms
right.
of ideas, in terms of things to create, direction. Allowed me to observe what was going on, what's out there,
Yeah.
and to really like maybe hone on to what like God was placing in me
For sure.
when I got back in now. So
Yeah. What was some of those steps that you discovered? That you had to take?
some of those steps was honestly it was a process of God revealing a lot of me in my creative blocks that I've had
Gotcha.
prior.
Okay.
Right. So a lot of maybe reasons why I wouldn't create, didn't create. Right. A lot of God bringing out a lot of maybe insecurities that I had about creating. Right. And so that process really was an unraveling of myself, honestly, more than anything, in terms of, okay, well, you know, the place where I create from, right? Like creating from a place of rest, creating from a place of understanding of my identity in God, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of unraveling that I think that God did in me through the process of getting to where I am now,
Right.
into like, okay, well, here's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Here's where I believe He's calling me to go to. So the process looked a lot of just step by step. Okay, God, like, what is it that you're telling about me? Maybe about my ideas, where I could go, and then slowly, you know, having sessions on my own, obviously, because by myself, and just kind of like meditating, if you will,
Yeah.
you know, about, okay, what does that look like? And then doing a little bit of research here and there, you know, like, okay, what would this look like for this next step if I were to do this thing or this thing? I looked at different avenues, different branches, right? How video could scale, like I mentioned before. And so, yeah, that process was, again, a year long.
For sure.
But again, the time that it gave me to really have more of a clear mindset in terms of, okay, well, here's some things that I need to do in terms of business, in terms of organization, in terms of structure, in terms of the steps to take, right? Clients, how to navigate my business, right? Like, so for those reasons, it really helped me a lot for when I come back. Okay, so now when I come back to do video, I have more of a lane, right, that I know I fit in, or I can put myself in a sense to where I can remain focused and hopefully get to the goal that I want to get to.
No, that's good because that's the work that a lot of people don't do is like slowing down enough to hear and to really understand what you're supposed to do. And I think we're all creative, right? We're all born in the image of God, so therefore we're creative because that's the first thing God revealed about Himself.
Yeah.
And so, like navigating through the part of becoming before you do, right? And I think it's a cycle in a sense where you become and then you do and then you do and then you become even more. And you know, taking that time to really like slow down and listen and understand where the direction of your life is going. That's the hard work that people don't do because it takes a lot of mind knowledge. You know, there's actually like I get more tired during the day when I'm thinking a lot because I'm like thinking about different ideas and different things that we're supposed to do.
It's something, man. It's which is that's so true. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You said something, and it's actually been the most important lesson, or one of the most important lessons that I've learned in this whole year, which is slowing down. The culture we live in, just who we're around, just the world we live in, is a very rush, hurry up, you need it now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you being gone a year, you would think, well, I'm gonna lose out time, right? I have to catch back up. Man, slowing down is so key. It's so key. People think that you have to always be on go, right? Like the I sleep when I'm dead type of deal. That's not the way.
Yeah.
Like and God modeled it, right? He took time and rested Himself. But when you rest, it actually will give you more than not resting, right? Like I think you can actually find yourself way more ahead, right? There's a reason why like we want to walk with God. I heard this some time ago on a podcast, but like runners, right, rarely stumble, right? They fall, like right. Runners fall.
Yeah.
A walk. When you're walking, right, you may stumble, but you're not gonna fall.
Right.
But walking allows you to understand your pace. It allows you to even think about just the parallel of when you're running. Imagine trying to have a conversation with somebody when you're running. You can't do it. You're too tired. You're winded.
You're out of breath.
You're out of breath. But when you walk in a way to where you can still be focused, you can still be mindful, you can slow down, you can still use discernment in areas of your business or whatever the case may be. I think it creates a better outcome. You can keep quality, right? It keeps you from being burnt out.
Right.
When you establish rest in all the areas of your life, I think you as a person will benefit from it, even more so, but especially in the creative way as well, because your mind won't be burnt out, right?
Right. I'll add to this is it is important to rest, and like resting will help you develop all those things, and the structures like slowing down will help you develop that. But then there's a time for you to run.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do agree with that though.
After you rest, you get all the information that you need. And then now it's time for you to take off, because I mean the scripture says run the race, with endurance, not walk the race.
For sure.
So, but there is an importance though to like slowing down first, to really develop your steps, to really understand where you're going,
right,
and then run. Because if you're running and you're trying to figure it out, you're gonna make a lot more mistakes.
For sure.
Rather than just walk and like, oh, do I go right or do I go left? Let's think about it, and then you decide,
Right.
And you're curious as to like where you're going. Eventually, you figure out, okay, this is where I'm going. I'm gonna run.
That's right.
To get there.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get to a point again where you have to walk.
Yeah.
You have to slow down. Now you're on the next level. You have to slow down. You have to think through it again. Rest, walk, run.
Yeah. That's
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, man. It's a cycle. But people forget the walk, the part to slow down, right? They run.
Yeah.
And then find themselves on the back burner,
right?
So taking those, like you said, those periods of rest, of where you need to walk, slow down, and then get back to it.
Yeah.
That's a necessary part. People just don't stop.
Right.
They just keep going.
Enough. Yeah.
And for me, I've been in that place, and so that's one of the most important things I've learned, just to take time, right? Like take a day out the week, right? Like slow down, rest, recover, recalibrate. And so, and then get right back to it, right? So I think that's just so key, man, and it can show in just the fruit of your labor.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. It's good. So gone a year. Now you're back. Where are you thinking that you're gonna go?
Yeah. So now that I've been back, biggest thing is it's funny. Just the other day, the first thing I was like, okay, let me just see my inventory. Let me just see everything I have, because it's been a whole year since I've been away from everything, right? And so obviously just getting, like I said, I did take a camera with me, so I wasn't too far removed from the video setting and whatnot. Of course, I'm continuing to learn and grow, because there's always something to learn and to practice. So I was doing that. However, now that I'm back, biggest thing now is just start growing business-wise, right? Clients. There's it's now to work with other people, and to create more solutions to problems out there in the world. Help. I'm really big on just helping those in need, whether it be through a service or through another videographer, however I can help. But I think that's definitely my goal right now, is to now that I'm back, start scaling, getting back into the business side of things, with video scaling. Right, and getting back out there into the playing field of what's out there. So
sure, no, that's good. So let's even go even deeper with video itself. Helping businesses and people grow and scale with video strategies. Really, how do you go about doing that? Like, let's say there's a company, there's a business owner. It's like, looking on the internet, a lot of people are posting videos. Some people are doing it well. Some people are not doing it at all. Some people are doing it wrong. Like, is there a better way to do it? Is there a right or wrong way to do it? Or is there a strategic way to do it?
I think there's a strategic way. I think that's how, because every client's different, right? There's every growth strategies. Maybe there's some similarities between different strategies. However, every client has a different growth need, right? Or every client maybe doesn't want the growth as maybe what we might want for them, right? So it's all about the first thing, I listen to what the client wants, right?
Listen.
That's the first
key.
thing, right?
Yeah.
You listen,
Yep.
right? See what their problem is, and see how you can provide a solution strategically
Mm.
for them. Now there are methods, there are ways to grow for sure, as we know.
Yeah.
And to do that, and so I think the most important thing to do first is to, you get with your client and you listen to what their needs are, and from there you're able to strategize on how to again, if we're talking about growth in a sense, right, to scale their growth, to scale their business, if you will, then I think that's the first step in doing that. Like I said, I think there's multiple ways though, to do it,
to go through. Yeah. I think listening is key because really the client is going to tell you what they want and what they need. They understand their business. We're just coming in to be an added support of that business to help them solve a problem that video is going to do, either like through brand awareness, you know, connecting with your clients and customers more better online, or even just having more of an outreach so for the people to be able to see, keep an eyes on you. I think there is a strategic way to figure out like how the video could help and how, like, point it to social media, point it through email marketing, put them to your landing page or website, having some kind of funnel where, you do create this video, right? You create a video, you put it on the landing page.
Yeah.
You take out like a piece of it, for socials.
Right.
From that social, you run an ad to the landing page.
Yeah.
People see that landing page, and then you've already brought them to your part of the world, and you could try to figure out a way to keep them there until they buy or until they become a client of yours. That's it.
That's pretty much it, right? You're trying to get people from here to get eyes on your product, your service, whatever it may be, for the client at least.
Right.
And the process of that, right, is kind of what you just explained. It is what you explained. And then spread over to multiple different ways of doing that, avenues of doing that. Yeah. But that's ultimately the goal, right? To help a client out with a strategy. I think it's just figuring out what the client has done in the past, what they've tried themselves, what hasn't worked, maybe what they tried that maybe was done wrong. Because again, like I said, there's people out there who are putting out things that sounds good, but doesn't work good. It doesn't work good. Because you have to also think like, there's demographic, who their market audience, target audience, excuse me. There are a lot of things to consider, right? When you're talking about a strategy, or what specific strategy you're going to use, at least so. Yeah. So yeah,
and we could go into a rabbit hole of different formats that you can use on when it comes to social media. There's a lot of things out there. I think I've even been in the process as a business owner to try out different things that could work, try out different formats. And what I have landed on is it's already within, who you are as a person, especially if you're building a brand. Who you are as a person should just naturally come out authentically. And that's what is going to attract or repel people from you. Because you as a person, you're going to attract and repel people. That's what marketing is, right? You're making sure that you're bringing in the people that you want, and you're making sure you're turning away the people that you don't want. Because you can't work with everyone. Everyone is not your ideal customer or your client. So you have to be strategic in a way where your marketing turns away people at the same time. And sometimes you just do that by being authentically you. Yeah. Especially if you're trying to build a brand.
For sure.
Now, if you're building a business that is outside of you as a CEO or outside of you as an owner, then there's other things that you have to figure out. But a lot of people will come to me, they'll text me, call me, send me an email, message, whatever it is, that, hey, I have this, I'm doing this, can you send me a quote? And then in the beginning, when I first started, my heart would just start beating. Oh man, I need to figure this out ASAP and send it over. But that's like a small-minded mentality where it's like, now I slow down the process. I'm like, okay, I'm sure you know what you want, but let's jump on a call. Let's jump on a Zoom call. Let's really figure out what you need, and let's talk through the problem so we'll come up with a ideal strategy for you. Sure. I'm not rushing giving people quotes anymore. I'm just like, It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. Like I have a process now,
Yeah.
which is what I had to do. I had to slow down. I had to
Slow
slow down to figure out that process of, okay, customer number A sends me a message. This is my response. Let's jump on a Zoom call. We jump on that Zoom call. Depends on if it's like we know that we're not gonna work, I'm gonna put you in the know. If we know that, okay, let's figure it out. Okay, now you're gonna move on to the next process, which is I will figure out like either a proposal
For sure.
or if we've talked through what it is, I'll just send you the estimate if it's nothing crazy. And then from there, so this is for people that want to start your video production.
Yeah.
Just try doing this now because I wish I knew this when I started, kind of thing. Is so now I send them a proposal, an estimate. They approve that. Then we'll go into the next phase of sending the invoice. It was an estimate. Send the invoice. Convert that estimate to an invoice. For them, pay down the 50%.
Yeah.
On the day, I try to collect the full amount before the shoot.
Okay.
For most part.
For sure.
There's some people that may ask, could I just, especially if they haven't worked with me, sure.
Right.
But this is why building your brand is important because they see you online as someone that they could trust.
Yeah.
So now they have no problem paying you the full amount before before you actually do the work because now you're trustworthy online. You don't want to mess up your reputation online.
Right.
People could slander you easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
It can go quick too, go far and wide.
Bruh. Easily. So you don't want to ruin that. So therefore you're gonna come through, you're gonna do whatever it is that you say you're gonna do.
Right.
So I try to get people to pay me before I even show up. And then after that, they go into a different place as a client. Now I onboard them as a client and do all that, the whole process and making sure I have all the information and everything that they need. All the notes that I've written down during the calls.
Nice.
I put it up, write it up in my project-based system. And then from there, do the shoot, give them the deliverables either online or some people still ask for a flash drive. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I actually have a little like a nice little box with the wooden USB from Amazon. Purchase that. Yeah. Write them a little note. Send it out. Packaging.
Nice.
You'll be surprised how many people are like surprised when I send them a package like that. They're like, "Wow, this looks nice." It's quality. I'm actually like I've never shared this before.
Yeah.
On a podcast. I've actually never shared this before. So, okay. But this is what I wish I knew.
Let me tell you, man. It's that piece alone is huge to me. Presentation,
right?
Upfront quality. It's the stuff that doesn't necessarily get seen. Like they see the video work, they're gonna see that stuff, but it's everything up front and how that's carried out as well needs to be equally as creative or as good as your work, right? As the actual video work that you're gonna do.
Right.
So from the presentation, from the structure, from how you talk to them, right? It's customer service as well.
Yeah.
You're also in a customer service business and job, right? So from that standpoint, that whole again quality of presentation of first impression, that I'm huge on that.
Yeah.
And so from the proposal, from the invoice, from even just kind of how you mentioned, like even from the flash drive and how you package that and present that, right? Everything that you're doing has your name on it, right?
That's
your name
your
is attached to it. Your brand is attached to it.
This is your brand,
right?
Because people see brand as just social media. It's more than that. Your brand is everything. How
everything.
do you package everything?
Exactly. Yeah. So just imagine this is the view that that's being back behind your brand. Like it's being established as this to whatever you send out, right? To whatever you carry out or you give to the client. So that's such a key part that I think a lot of people miss out on. They focus more on the video. The deliverable as opposed to the front end.
Right. And that's what, like, if you're working with, like, big businesses and people, that's what they actually... If you look at Apple, look at Apple's packaging. They have one of the best packaging, from their cell phone to the iPads to the laptops to the iMacs. It just looks really cool. Like, when you open that thing, it's like...
And you haven't even used it.
Yeah.
You're talking about the packaging.
The packaging.
What's inside is what you're going to use.
That's
but
what you're
you're
buying.
enamored by what it's in.
Right.
Hey,
Let that sit.
Hey, let that sit
for a minute.
Think about it.
Let that sit.
You haven't even touched the actual thing you're gonna use.
Yes, but that's crazy.
Like,
yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like
that's really good. It's like, you know,
deep.
even look at yourself as a person, right?
Yeah.
What people connect with is your authentic self, right? But
sure.
your presentation
Mm-hmm.
is what like would really get people to continue to come.
Yeah.
The outward branding is what will get people to continue to come.
Yeah.
And then what will keep them to stay is how you,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
carry them through the process.
Your character precedes the gift, right? Like, and again, you can take that to what you said from the brand and what you give. But yeah, I have clients. Actually, I had a client say this the other day, and I'm thankful to God, right, to have this type of mindset and why this is so important. He said, he's like, I like working with you guys purely because of how you are, right? Like how you carry yourselves, what you like, not just things you offer and what you can give, but just again, it's the outward, right? It's the customer service. It's right. All those things matter.
Yeah.
Right. People want to work with great people.
Right.
Right. People want to work with people they trust. People who, so again, like just it's not just about what you give, the gift itself, right? And so man, like as a brand,
right, the brand, and the only way to really fully get to that, it's by slowing down, by resting, and then figuring it out, like how to go step by step, because like, especially now, people need video so much that you get drowned by the work and you'll forget your process, you know, and the process is important. I'll say even more important than the work you do sometimes. And the only way I was able to do that was to slow down. You know, I was going 100 miles per hour sometimes because there's so much going on in life. Like I'm a creative director at the church. I'm married. I got 2 young kids. We're buying a house. We're doing the podcast. There's a lot going on.
Right.
But once I started listening to this guy called Myron Golden.
Yeah.
And he talks about like, you know, becoming before you do. So I started like looking at everything that I've done. I've done a lot. But to get to that next level, I had to become something that I wasn't yet.
That's good.
And that's where we are now, is becoming that person that is able to do the thing at that next level.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right. To also get to that point, I think, to realize that, and again, for you to slow down and to reach that next level, and understanding what it takes to get there, right? Becoming a different person, where things gonna have to change,
right?
Which is a necessary key and step in life, in this business, in growth, right? Like if you wanna succeed and do things well, that has to be a part of the disciplines of your life, right? And so, man, that's good. And he's good too, man. His stuff is great.
Like, there's probably like 5 people that I listen to, like when it comes to like podcasts or business or like strategies or like, and he teaches like Christian principles through the Bible on business. So awesome. Myron Golden is one. Omar El-Takori is one.
Good,
Chris Doe. Listen to him.
Love his stuff.
Yeah,
man. His stuff is gold.
He is. Yeah, he is something else.
Yeah,
man.
he is. He is.
Listen to David Shands. And then there's a 5th one. I'm trying to remember, like who I placed on that 5th for myself, because there's a lot of podcasts out there, but there's people that I really like gravitate towards, and the way they communicate and the way they teach. That I'm like, man, these are like they're great mentors from afar.
For sure.
I've taken some programs, with Omar and and just like seeing how he does what he does, and and just putting myself, in that place as well.
Dude, I think that's another great thing. I'm not sure you probably didn't mean to bring it up as a point, but I'll like to say as a point, it's good in business to, like you said, there are so many voices out there. I think it's good to narrow who you're listening to. Right? Like find a key key few, 3, 4, 5 people, and just hone in on those. Because there's so many different things that are being said, man, bro.
Things,
like, I mean, how many videos on YouTube do you see about anything growing in business? Like, there's so many different ways and so many different people. Like, who do I listen to? Who do I start to? Which can paralyze people. It can stop people from doing anything because, like, I don't know who to listen to. I don't know where to start. He says one thing, he says another. Which one works? Because he said this one works. She says this one works.
Yeah.
I've learned to, pick your 3 or 4 people and listen to them.
That's good.
Right? Like, and follow them. Again, assuming that they're, that you believe strongly in what they believe and how they're doing things. And you see that they're doing things well and doing things right. That will help you, I think. Yeah. Truly. It's something that I learned to do, and it's truly helped me. Yeah. Because now I don't have to worry about, like, searching so much. You know what I'm saying? And
that's good. No, that's good because I listened to, like, Myron Golden because of he has the business principles based on biblical principles. You know, he does that really well. Omar El Takori is kind of like in similar boats as I am. It works at the church as well. So do I. And he has a video agency. So do I. Right. And so, like, learning from, like, YouTube secrets from him and, like, Instagram and building a personal brand from that perspective. David Shands is more about podcasting. You know, how do you grow your podcast, when it comes to what you're doing. And then Chris Doe, his stuff is, like, more on, like, just the creative entrepreneur. And that's something that I aspire to be and do as well. It's just for creatives in general. And so he brings in a lot of, like, how do you price yourself? How do you market yourself when it comes to your creative business? And that's been really helpful.
It's necessary, as you're talking about those individuals, but it's necessary as a creative entrepreneur or podcaster, whatever you may label yourself in, to give yourself time to grow and listen, right? To learn. Part of getting to where you want to get to is listening to those who've maybe gotten there before or they're there now. But you can't just, this is what I want to do, and just do it without learning, like, the right ways to do things, right? Because there are right ways to do things. There's wrong ways to do things. And you can, I should say. But if you want to take less burns, you know what I'm saying, if you will, there's plenty of information, individuals who have given their time and resources and who are giving information that will allow you to flourish and do really well at. It's just going to cost you nothing but your time. And I think that it should be necessary for the person who's wanting to scale, grow, do whatever, again, to listen to individuals like that, right? Take time, take an hour a day, take 30 minutes, audio, however you do it, and learn something new, right? Learn how to grow, because, right, video isn't just video. There's multiple aspects. It's a business, right? There's customer service, as we talked about. You need to be learning in all of these different areas, right? So you can do well in all these different areas, especially, again, the direction that you want to take your company, or your creative skills, right?
Nah, that's good, man. I think this has been a good episode of like just wrapping up the mind on if you have something to do and you get diverted for whatever reason, like stay on it. Let that be a time of like rest and figuring out things, you know. First, you rest, you figure it out. Then you implement those processes, you know, that you've, learned or acquired skills for. Then you find people that are doing it at a high level as well. Listen to them. If you can't pay them, for the information they have, that's free. They already have free things that they do, like on YouTube or Instagram, that you could learn from. And then from there, making sure that you narrow those down, because there's a lot of voices out there, and there's a lot of people that will teach you, different ways to do it. But you just have to know which way actually speaks to you as a person, and then implement those in your business as well.
That's good.
Yes, sir. So appreciate you, bro.
Anytime. Appreciate you, man.
All right.